Hello, everybody. This is some random Neko waking up from her nap to greet the world for the day. And by greet, I mean use Cinco de Mayo as an excuse to help my friend cross off another film on her despairingly long to watch list. What film might that be, you ask? It's The Book of Life, which I know is technically celebrating the Day of the Dead, but they also mentioned Cinco de Mayo in the film, so it totally counts. And I know there are better films out there I could have watched instead, but this was the one my friend hadn't seen yet, so yeah, that's my terrible excuse and I'm sticking to it. Moving on now. In the town of San Angel, Manolo, Maria, and Joaquin have been best friends since childhood. However, circumstances put the three down different paths, with Maria sent to Spain, Joaquin joining the military, and Manolo becoming a bullfighter. One thing remains the same though, Manolo and Joaquin's love for Maria and their desire to marry her. Little do the trio know, two deities have made a high-stakes wager on who will win Maria's hand in marriage. A wager that will lead Manolo, now torn between fulfilling the family legacy and following his heart, on an adventure that will test the strength of his love. The story of the Book of Life is good and fun with plenty of action to spice things up. It's got a lot of humor with none of the jokes falling flat and the slapstick comedy never failing to amuse, at least to me. But it's still able to get serious when it needs to while teaching important lessons. It's a great celebration of the Day of the Dead with focus on the themes of love and following your heart to create your own legacy instead of just following along with what's expected of you. The romance was also interesting to watch unfold given the trio's close childhood friendship and the added supernatural element of the deity's wager. And the narrative structure is unique in that it has continual narration throughout the film instead of just an opening and or ending sequence as is usually done. This gives it the unique feel of a tale that's literally being told to the audience both in and out of the film. The structure mechanic also has its own humor and charm, as we're able to cut back and see how the museum guide and kids react to what's happening in the story. In regards to the characters, the cast is vast and colorful, but the focus is on our main trio, Manolo, Joaquin, and Maria. Manolo is the protagonist of the story, despite the emphasis on the trio in the beginning. I really like the character journey he goes on and how it matches each step of the hero's journey quite literally, while he proves the belief that following his heart isn't wrong, and that's the kind of legacy he wants to be remembered for. Joaquin is Manolo's best friend, practically brother in all but blood. He's got insecurity issues stemming from the legacy left behind by his war hero father, but later proves that it's not too late to cast his own shadow. Also, according to my friend, Joaquin is a Pokemon because he always shouts his name before attacking, and you know what? I agree. And Maria, despite being the bearer of Manolo and Joaquin's affections, is a great character who has her own story to tell and refuses to only be a plot device for their romance rivalry. She doesn't want to adhere to the societal expectations of being a lady, and only allows herself to be romanced if it comes from the heart, not from society's expectations. She also has a pet pig named Chewy, who has a special place in my heart, first as an adorable little piglet, then as a sassy pig who takes no prisoners when it comes to protecting Maria. In addition to our main trio are all the rest of the characters who play a part in their story, both big and small. The Sanchez family, both living and dead, are an interesting bunch that's full of varied personalities while serving as a reminder of the legacy Manolo inherits. The mariachi band trio act as a comic relief and are always hilarious to see on screen. The mayor is Joaquin's reminder of the shadow his father's legacy casts, while also serving to push the plot along. Then there's La Muerte and Xibalba, who are the deities behind the wager. They're fascinating characters with an interesting dynamic as a feuding couple who still clearly love each other, but had lost touch for centuries until the power of Manolo's love helps them reunite. The Candlemaker is also just an overall cool dude, and his Book of Life is a great sidekick for a sentient, non-verbal object. In regards to the production of the film, so many kudos should be given because the attention to detail in character design, set design, and even sound design was insane. The character designs especially had such intricate detailing, it felt like I was noticing something new with each rewatch. The living characters had wooden textures due to being puppets. The dead characters all had unique carvings on their skeletons. La Muerte's skin glittered like sugar candy. Xibalba has little skulls for irises and pupils. And the Candlemaker is basically a sentient candle with a beard. Each part of the afterlife was unique as well, from the grand fiesta of the Land of the Remembered to the ashen graveyard of the Land of the Forgotten, to the Candlemaker's vast cave of souls, and everything in between. The action sequences were fun to watch, with each one being unique to fit the context of both the situation and the character journey Manolo goes through. The soundtrack was also really good. Yes, I know it's just a bunch of pop songs as opposed to Hispanic originals, and I know the film's original songs barely use any Spanish at all. But the songs fit the tone of the film as they were all centered around the themes of love, and they added to either the humor or the emotion of whichever scene they were played in. And the casting was great no matter what anyone says, and you can really tell all of the voice actors were having a blast in the recording booth with how much life and personality they were able to give to their respective characters. Now, as fun as the Book of Life is, there are some flaws to its story and production. But first, I want to address the flack that it's gotten after Coco came out. My opinion is that the entire debate between these two films is dumb as heck. Coco is not a ripoff of the Book of Life, and the Book of Life is not some inferior version of Coco. These are two fundamentally different films that just both happen to celebrate the Day of the Dead, and that's a hill I will gladly die on. Now with that out of the way, let's address my criticisms with the Book of Life. The film's story moves really fast. We spend 2 days in the past, then get a time skip montage from childhood to adulthood, then everything else happens over the course of 2 days again, which was way too fast in my opinion. The fast pace meant that there were some decisions that were made, or things that were said, that didn't make much sense. They also end up glossing over or moving straight past certain things and treating it with the same energy as a shrug because the plot needs to keep moving along, so there's not even a single second to waste dwelling on it, even when it really should have been dwelled on. There's also way too many characters, so the film wasn't able to fully explore any of them quite as well or use them as often. I wish we could have spent more time with the extended Sanchez family rather than only getting the bare necessities with them. And I wish they delved deeper into Joaquin and Maria since they were so essential to the story. But the film focused a little too much on Manolo's personal journey, which would have been fine if the film hadn't first introduced and established a trio as, well, a trio. Finally, the source of the conflict was strange in my opinion, and I'm not talking about the wager two deities made about the future relationships between 3 kids. I'm talking about why Joaquin couldn't stay at the village to help against Chacal. I know he joined the military, but the story made it seem like it was the town military, and that he left occasionally to help other towns. So why couldn't he stick around for a bit longer? Was there a war going on, or did I miss something? And why was marriage the only thing that would keep him in town? Couldn't Maria ask him to stick around as a favor or for a friend in need? Why did she need to be pushed into a marriage? It was just kinda weird and could be written off as fairy tale logic, but it's still weird nonetheless. Overall, The Book of Life gets an A-B+. It's a great film that never fails to pick up my mood as it's just good old fun all around, from the visuals to the voice acting to the songs to the humor and more. Manolo is a compelling hero going on his hero's journey, while the other characters each have their own unique story to tell. The deities in particular are fascinating characters with a humorous back and forth that I kinda wish I could see continue in another film that centered around them and their story. The animation is amazing, and the attention to detail was just off the charts. The songs, while not Hispanic in nature, were still good and did their job in driving home the theme of love while adding layers to whichever scenes they were used in. The film is a unique representation of the Day of the Dead regarding the love of the people who have lived and died and the legacy you want to be remembered by. So if you'd like to watch a fun film that celebrates Hispanic culture with amazing animation and a unique fantasy tale, The Book of Life is waiting for you to delve into the story written on its pages. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Reminder that this is just my opinion, so you can take it with as many grains of salt as you want. I don't mind either way, and would love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and comment which film you'd like me to give my 2 cents about next. This is some random Neko, going off to take a really long nap now. Don't forget to keep calm and just meow.